Hello, my name is Abdullah Faqih. I am from grade 10 of SMM High School. I am going to discuss the attack on 9/11, what happened that day, and what happens after. 20 years ago, on Tuesday, September 11, 2001, a group of suicide attackers hijacked a US commercial plane and crashed it into two skyscrapers in New York City, killing thousands of people. In my personal opinion, terrorist groups like these need to be dealt with and given heavy consequences for what they did and what it has impacted. They not only made the religion of Islam look terrible to non-Muslims, they also destroyed both World Trade Center 1 and World Trade Center 2, aka the Twin Towers. But they killed thousands of lives and they destroyed thousands of families without any feeling of guilt. For me, seeing those people who are breaking their backs every day for their families killed in a way like this is very, very sad. Now I will talk about the events that occurred on the 11th of September 2001. Four planes flew over the eastern US caused by being hijacked simultaneously by a small group of attackers. 15 of the hijackers were Saudis like bin Laden himself, two from the United Arab Emirates, one from Egypt, and one from Lebanon. These planes were then used as giant bullets to hit important buildings in both New York and Washington, D.C. Two planes crashed into the Twin Towers in New York. The first hit the North Tower at 8:46 a.m. The second hit the South Tower at 9:03 a.m. The Twin Towers were burning, trapping people upstairs and blanketing the city in smoke. In less than 2 hours, the two 110-story towers collapsed in an enormous cloud of dust. At 9:37 a.m., a third plane destroyed the western part of the Pentagon. The Pentagon is the U.S. military headquarters outside the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. The fourth plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m. after passengers fought back. It is thought the hijackers intended to attack and destroy the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Now I will talk about the victims and survivors of the attack. Sadly, there were no survivors above the collision zone in the North Tower, but thankfully, 18 people managed to escape from the floor above the collision zone in the South Tower. In total, 2,977 people, excluding the 19 hijackers, lost their lives, mostly in New York. All 246 passengers and crews on all four planes were killed. At the Twin Towers, 2,606 people died, killed directly or as a result of injuries. At the Pentagon, 125 people died. The oldest victim was 82-year-old Robert Norton, who was on another plane with his wife Jacqueline en route to a wedding. The youngest victim was 2-year-old Chris Lee Henson, who died on one of the planes with her parents Peter and Sue. Thousands of people were injured or later suffered from illnesses associated with the attack, including firefighters working in the toxic rubble. Next up, I want to talk about who these terrorists are. So, on the 11th of September 2001, aka 9/11, 19 people committed the hijacking, working in three teams of five. One group consisted of four people. This was the group of the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania. Each group has someone who has undertaken pilot training. This is done in flying schools in the US itself. An Islamic extremist network called Al-Qaeda is planning attacks from Afghanistan. Led by Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda blames the US and its allies for conflicts in the Muslim world. Less than a month after the attack, President George W. Bush led an invasion of Afghanistan, backed by an international coalition to root out Al-Qaeda and hunt down bin Laden. However, it wasn't until 2011 that US forces finally found and killed bin Laden in Pakistan. Next, I would like to talk about what did they do about the old location of World Trade Center 1 and World Trade Center 2. A reflecting pool on which the former South Tower was almost completed in July 2011. The pool was designed by Israeli-American architect Michael Arad and landscape architect Peter Walker as part of the September 11th National Memorial. The new memorial was dedicated to the families of the victims in a ceremony on September 11th, 2011, and only opened to the public the next day. The north and south reflecting pools have the largest man-made waterfalls in North America. Each has 9 meters high and ending in a square pool. According to Arad, the pools represent nothingness in sight, with water flowing into cavities that can never be filled. Next, I would like to reflect on this English semester. Some challenges that I encountered while working on this project are the sources I have to find. To solve or overcome them, I researched them. During this project, I learned about the World Trade Center buildings and what happened on 9/11. During this semester, I learned descriptive text, part of speech, simple present and past tense, pronunciation, and passive voice in English. I still have some problems with passive voice. My targets for the next semesters are to show up for the Zoom meetings earlier than before. And for the final part, I would like to say some of my thoughts. This 9/11 tragedy is one of the most traumatic events of this century. This 9/11 tragedy shows us how heartless those terrorists were, killing themselves and thousands of others. Therefore, let us make an effort by helping people who were affected by tragedies like these. Also, these terrorists were speculated to be Muslims. This shows that we need to do things in this world that can influence others in a good and positive way. One last thing I want to say is about racism. Racism in the world is increasing, and this is very bad and very sad. We should not judge people that we don't even know just by the color of their skin or judge people by their religion just because of their past or their racist past. We must encourage our brothers and sisters to protect one another from bad things like terrorists and bring peace to the world. Thank you.